I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, executive producer of the Female Solution radio show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, Palestine, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Join us live on the on-air radio network. Call 727-731-5192. We want to talk to you.
Yes, we do want to talk to you, and we want you to talk to us as well. I'm Naima Latif, and you are listening to and watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. And Happy New Year to everyone joining us here on our radio network. We are, of course, live streaming on the on-air radio network. You can go to
www.onaireverywhere.com. And you can click on Listen Now and see us live on the On Air Radio Network. And we're going to come back and bring you our co-host, Kareem Hamid. And of course, you can call in on the AM 360 line at 515-605-9891. Of course, join us on air at 727-731-5192 because we want to hear from you. Today, we're going to talk about what happens to your children financially after a divorce. There are so many homeless people, and if you look at the roots of it, somewhere the family fell apart and no one planned the cushion that could help them in hard times, and that's why they have no place to go. What happens when couples fail to secure a future because they're too busy fighting? Well, let's talk about a few situations and some tips on how you can continue to co-parent and estate plan so that your adult children don't end up with nothing. We'll be right back after this quick break, so stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be back in a moment, so stay with us.
The Female Solution Global Radio TV show invites you to an invigorating, empowering, interactive conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Gathering of the Griots with Asada. Wednesdays, Repairing Family Relationships with Naima and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Veggie Brunch Live with Angela. Fridays, Health and Well-Being with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Global Talks with Zana. Second Saturday, Walk in Your Divine Authority with Mama Joy. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. Fourth Saturday, be a judge on the virtual Teens, Tweens, and Tots Talent Contest. And fifth Saturday, join us on location as we conversate at the Elevate Cafe, owner Jackie Brooks. Sundays, join us 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Go to thefemalesolution.com to join us on our video or audio live streaming platforms. Listen at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution. Call in on the Blog Talk Radio Network 515-605-9325 or call in and comment on the On Air Radio Network 727-731-5192. We want to hear from you.
And we are back. We'll certainly look forward to hearing from you. We'll be right back after this quick message, so stay with us.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms.
And we are back. You're listening to and watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif, and we'll be joined with our co-host Kareem Hamid. And we want to talk to you because we know that a lot of families are going through some of these issues, especially when it comes to how to handle the future in the case of a divorce. And in many situations, our families are in shambles because we have not planned.
You that's on this line that have resolved or become or give a resolution for something that you would like to improve in your life, and all of us, every last one of us can we have a wide area in our lives that we can make improvement upon. So praise be to Allah. I have become not just through New Year's Day or nothing like that, but I have committed myself to have more patience, and to be more understanding. Praise be to Allah. Be more understanding of others. It's one thing to be understood, but I found it very profitable to understand another person, be able to look through their eyes, through their situation, through their circumstance. Praise be to Allah, and that I find it to be very valuable.
Absolutely.
To consider the opinion, the views, and the health, the well-being of others, and so I have made some progress along that road. I know I have.
Well, that is important. Definitely, that's part of what we have a responsibility to create within ourselves, because we are, in fact, having a challenge when we cannot, in our relationships, resolve issues. And one of the difficulties in marriage is that once we have tied together our financial future with someone, to break it apart is like dissolving a business. And if it's not done properly, then it creates problems. Let's say you've got employees and you and your business partners fall out and you can't resolve the problem. Well, if the business shuts down, then everybody is let go, laid off, fired. And what happens to all of those families that were depending on that salary? So this is why when we form families, it's much more than just the romance and the physical intimacy. You have people that are depending on you for their lives. And if you can't get along, it's going to have long-term consequences. It's going to have an impact just based on the fact that if the family breaks apart, then so many things become uncertain, such as the household. What's going to happen to the house? So when you fight over the house and nobody is able to think clearly, such as, well, how do we make sure we put the house in trust so that our children get it? Most of the time, parents are so busy fighting and trying to hurt each other that they don't think, well, what about 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now? All of our joint accumulated wealth that we have to now divide because we're at odds. How will our children then benefit? Because we're barely speaking to each other. So these issues are what makes ultimately this large homeless population that we have. So how do we figure out how to become cohesive in our planning for our joint children so that they are not struggling?
Time stops. No. Time continues on. It continuously moves forward. It is what we do with time that adds value and a blessing. To have this time, praise be to Allah, and to have this time, this morning, to be speaking on American Muslim 360 and to be speaking to you, praise be to Allah, is how I have chosen to spend this 1 hour. Yeah, we have reduced the female solution to 1 hour. So time is very important. I pray Allah that we know its value and how we spend it. Don't waste your time.
Absolutely.
How can we waste our time? By not being conscious of progress. Praise be to Allah. Progress. Okay, yeah, my sister's calling me on the phone. Hold on, please.
Yes, we're on the Female Solutions switchboard line. So just, we're listening to you now. Just open the mic so you can hear us. 347. Yes.
Unmuted.
Absolutely. Yes. So, of course, we appreciate all of your words of wisdom from our co-host, Kareem Hamid, and our American Muslim 360 family. And we've got our on-air radio network family tuning in. And we remind you, of course, that at the end of this month, Blog Talk Radio will be discontinuing. We are transitioning to the on-air radio network. You can go to www.onaireverywhere.com/on-air-radio-network. We'll put that on the screen and just hit listen now, and you'll be able to join us live and see us live on the On-Air Radio Network YouTube page. And of course, you can call in 727-731-5192 because we want to hear from you. And we want you to give us your views. And as I said earlier, today we want to remind people of the fact that when you marry, it's not just the romance, it is a business decision. You are combining your business assets, you are making a business plan. And just like if a business shuts down, it has an impact on all the employees who must then be fired, let go, laid off. When a marriage ends, it puts the children in such a precarious financial condition because, for the most part, the parents are not sitting down and creating an estate plan for their future. So if they're of minor age, and you decide to split and you fought over who's going to get the house and who's going to get the car, and this one remarries and that one doesn't, or that one remarries and this one doesn't, there's usually so much anger and confusion that no one thinks, well, how do we jointly, give to their college fund, or how do we jointly set aside money for their first home, or how do we jointly set up an investment account for the children. The couple is too busy fighting to see the devastating long-term impact of their divorce. And the evidence is in the growing homeless population. And I've had a chance over the years to talk to a number of people who are living in the streets. It always starts with something happened to a parent. Maybe one parent died and the other parent left their lives because of a separation. So there was no connection. And this person who was depending on that one parent now has no financial support and ends up in the street. I've had a number of associates where that happened to them. And I'll say, well, what happened to your father? Well, he left after they split. All those kinds of things. And I'm not bashing men. I'm just saying this is the pattern. Because if two people cannot plan a future for their children because they're at odds, and that person starts out with nothing, if that person has any kind of difficulty, whether a job loss or whatever, there's no cushion. There's nothing. And we've got too many people struggling to survive with nothing because the parents could not keep a relationship together. And these are things to think about when you decide to end a relationship. These are things to think about when you decide to start a relationship. Is this someone that you can go the distance with? And if you can't, can you at least be amenable enough to make sure that the children you have together are secure? And that's what we're failing to do. And I'm just giving a short scenario. And then, of course, the number that you can call is on the screen. You can call us at, this is the last day you'll be able to call our blog talk number. For the Female Solution, we're going to be transitioning to the on-air radio network. But of course, you can, again, listen in at www.on-air-radio.com/on-air-radio-network. We'll put that on the screen. And of course, you can call in on the blog talk channel, the American Muslim 360. You got another 30 days for that. 515-605-9891. You can call us at 515-605-9325. I know we've got a lot of long-term listeners that have that number locked in their phone, but we want to make sure that we transition to our on-air radio network line. But just to give you one couple's situation, George and Cindy, they were married a good 7 or 8 years, had 2 children, and just decided they couldn't make it after 7 years. And so now this was, a number of years ago. They had gotten together and got married. And George actually had quite a bit of money. Cindy was still in school when they got married. Anyway, once she graduated, and he kind of helped put her through school. And then even though they had financial means, that's when they started to argue and dispute over finances. And they had just invested in a home. And somehow, when the marriage fell apart, as what tends to happen, there's a fight over who's going to get the house. So now, fast forward 20 years later, there was no provision. What ended up happening, Cindy ended up with the house. George, left, wasn't that much in the children's lives. He remarried. And the daughter, she ended up living in the house when her mother passed away. But there was they didn't go through the channels of, well, is it in trust? Is it in whatever? So somehow taxes got behind, and Cindy and George's daughter lost the house. The brother was not financially, something happened with him where he got into a drug problem, couldn't get himself together. He ended up homeless. When he got ready to come and live back in the family home, well, Cindy lost the home because I guess taxes or whatever didn't get paid. George was on with his new family, and he was, kind of estranged from the children. So when the daughter tried to contact him, it was like, well, no, you can't come live with us. Son, he got a drug problem. He can't live with them. So in short, what happened to grown children, the son, perpetually homeless, the daughter, living with various friends, trying to get herself together economically. The father, he's somewhere with a new wife. He's fine. Now, people have looked at that and said, well, he's wrong. He did his children wrong, blah, 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 blah. But I'm looking at this situation and the fact that had they, once they bought the house, even if they divorced, had they put some measures together so that the children could still have a place to stay, you wouldn't end up with two adult children whose lives are just so fractured that they couldn't benefit from that brief moment of financial stability that their parents had when they were younger. So I want to take a look at that, because that's a situation that happens often. And unfortunately, we never think about planning for a future for our children once our marriages end, because we feel like we want to either get vengeance on the other person who left us, or simply move on with our lives with someone else and not look back. But what are your thoughts on that? What would you say George and Cindy should have done when they had their minor age children and they first bought that house and they first saw that their marriage wasn't going to come together or stay together? What would you say should have been the conversation between them, given the fact that they had the opportunity to secure a future home for their children and they didn't do that? So what would you say their conversation should have been once they saw that they were divorcing, but they had a piece of property that they could have had stay in the family? Yes. Yeah. So yeah, Brother Kareem, what are your thoughts? First of all, have you had to deal with property that was jointly owned in a marriage that ended? And have you had to deal with grown children who have maybe needed help once they got grown and needed to come back to a place to stay?
Well, praise be to Allah. All praise is due to Almighty God. Let me begin with that. When there's a subject matter called family planning, two individuals get married, and they should plan what they want their life to be. And also, if there are children from that union, as parents, they should have a plan for the success and the advance of their children. And usually that's done when both couples are comfortable with each other and the marriage is solid. Let's say trouble arises and the marriage is coming to an end. And you're so correct, but usually the conversation is the vying for assets take a large precedence concerning divorce. Who will get what, and maintenance, and the dissolution, the dissolving of property. I would hope that they would have the consciousness to return back to the plan that they had for their children, although the marriage is no more. But still, we had or have a good plan for our children. And can we contribute to that original plan, that we, although we are not together, but we are connected, because we both share as parents in the lives of our children. And see how whatever the plan was, I'm quite sure it was something beneficial for the child or children. To have the steadiness of mind, steadiness of consciousness, to discuss between each other how can we move forward with the plans that we make for our children. Does that plan cease to exist because we are not together, but we're still parents? You can divorce a husband or wife, but we should never take it that we are divorcing our children. So as parents, I would hope that sometimes divorce is a very heated occasion, a very heated situation to be in. But to cool down, cool heads, and say and speak to each other concerning the plans that we have for our children. That's how you and I, although we're not together, but they're still our children. What can we do to further the plan that we had for our children? We know sometimes divorce affects one financially, and the plans may have been made in the area of, or in the environment of a comfortable financial atmosphere. But you're so correct. There are people that were doing well until they entered into divorce. And there was a very tragic stories concerning the loss of assets, the loss of financial weight. There's a downsizing that occurs sometimes. But what I'm pointing at is the interest of the children. We make plans. Matter of fact, I have had to help my children, and they are adults, but still, I'm still their father, and they have needed some financial help from me. Matter of fact, they needed help to relocate to another state where there was better opportunity. So praise be to Almighty God, me and their mother. Although we are not together, haven't been together. Matter of fact, I have remarried since the separation of my children's mother and myself. But the interest of our children remained. And we have worked as a partnership in order to secure our children. No matter what differences we may have had, but the plan for our children is important. Sometimes children get, they're already experiencing a loss of security, a loss of safety when both parents separate. But if the parents themselves put their children's interest ahead of themselves, then whatever the good plans are, inshallah, they can contribute to those plans and stay on course concerning our children. This is so important as parents. As parents, sometimes we can get too introspective as individuals. But we have given birth to life outside of ourselves, and we're still responsible for the life that we have brought into existence, as parents. So you are bringing up an excellent subject, and I think that needs to be looked at concerning the well-being and the plans that we have for our children. It's a very important subject matter. Although we're not together, can you and I still carry out the plans that we have for Selema or Anwar? You know, and that's what I hope that we grow into. Sometimes there is financial loss in some marriages, and sometimes the plans have to be altered, you know, to fit the financial circumstance. But we as parents, we have the obligation to plan for our children. We know they will become adults and they will plan for themselves. But in the meantime, we have to have a plan for our children. I remember as a young boy, I wanted to be a lawyer. I was very intrigued by the program Perry Mason that would come on. Perry Mason was a very successful lawyer and never lost a case. And I saw the strategy of debate, and I was very intrigued by that. I liked that. And I had informed my parents that I wanted to be a lawyer. Well, that didn't happen. My mother died, and the financial situations was lessened, and stability and security and all of that. And my plan and wanted to be a lawyer went awry. And but I believe had they remained together, had she not passed, I believe that I would have been able to attend law school, inshallah, and become a lawyer. So the plans we have for our children, you know, we live vicariously through our children. So we want the best for them. So even in the midst of divorce, let us focus in as part of the agreement to continue and foster the plans that we have for our children. I'll stop
Absolutely.
right there, my sister.
Yes.
Thank you for the subject.
Oh, well, thank you for your input. We're going to take a quick break and come back and talk about some steps that couples can take to do just as you had suggested. Find out what are the aspirations of your children. What are their aspirations? What are their visions? What are their goals? And how can you make it happen even if the two of you decide to split? That's always challenging because most of the time people are so angry that they're not rational. And when you become that angry, there's a selfishness. There's more of a desire for vengeance or to hurt someone who has hurt you. And you don't think about who else is being hurt. Or you want the children to take sides and you want to show them that you're actually right and your spouse is wrong. And so every time there's a suffering, oh, see, it's because your father's not giving you money. Oh, it's because your mother left me. And, you know, it's all that. And the end result is that our children don't thrive. So how can we, in our anger and hurt, think of more than just ourselves? We'll talk about some steps when we come back from this quick break. And if you're listening online and want to join this conversation, you can call us 515-605-9891 and join us on the on-air radio network 727-731-5192. Of course, we want to hear from you. We also have one more day on the Blog Talk Radio Network on the Female Solution, 515-605-9325. Just press 1 so we know you've got a thought you'd like to share. And we'll be right back. So stay with us.
Okay, I have a caller here on the studio board, inshallah. Hopefully we can open up their
All right.
after this brief public service announcement.
Well, hold on. We'll be right back to take your call.
The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating, empowering,
interactive conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Gathering of the Griots with Asada. Wednesdays, Repairing Family Relationships with Naima and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Veggie Brunch Live with Angela. Fridays, Health and Well-Being with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Global Talks with Zana. Second Saturday, Walk in Your Divine Authority with Mama Joy. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. Fourth Saturday, be a judge on the virtual Teens, Tweens, and Tots Talent Contest. And fifth Saturday, join us on location as we conversate at the Elevate Cafe, owner Jackie Brooks. Sundays, join us 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Go to thefemalesolution.com to join us on our video or audio live streaming platforms. Listen at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution. Call in on the Blog Talk Radio Network 515-605-9325 or call in and comment on the On Air Radio Network 727-731-5192. We want to hear from you.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms.
And we are back. You're listening to and watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif, along with our co-host Kareem Hamid and our American Muslim 360 family. And again, we are reminding you that as of January 2025, we are expanding and preparing for the launch of our on-air TV network. And so all of our shows will also be TV shows, 1-hour shows that you can tune in on your TV channel. And of course, we'll also have the links to our website, the on-air TV website, to give you updates and schedules of programming. But of course, in doing that, we've streamlined the shows to be 1 hour, and you'll get a chance still to call in and comment and be a part of the solution. And today, of course, we're taking a look at a common situation. What happens when couples part? Usually they don't see the future, and they don't see that the family instability is what they have put in motion for generations to come. And sometimes that very next generation ends up homeless, even though the parents may have achieved a certain financial security. But because they split and didn't make a plan, their children ended up with nothing. And sometimes one difficulty, such as the loss of a job, a layoff, or the temporary state of unemployment can lead a person out in the street, and they become one of the growing members of the homeless population. I've seen it over and over again. So before we took a break, we had some callers on the line. We want to give them an opportunity to give their thoughts on this situation with George and Cindy and their ended relationship and their now grown son and daughters, both at various levels of homelessness, even after they'd bought a house, but they left the marriage. So let's hear our callers and see what they have to say.
Area code 323-867. Please state your name and where you're calling from. Welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This is Karam Muhammad from Baton Rouge. From Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
I'm sorry, what's your name again?
One of the things that Sister Karam Muhammad.
Oh, Karan Muhammad from Baton Rouge. Okay, thank you so much.
Alhamdulillah. I said usually what they do is when the couple have children, if the mom wants to stay in the house, then what she do is she splits the equity with the father. And if they sell the house, they still split the equity that's in the house. You know, that's usually what they do. Alhamdulillah.
So you're saying that if the couple decides to split, then they share the equity in the house?
Yes, but what happened is that the one that stays in the house, the other party, the other puts it in that person's name, and then they split the equity. They give them half of the equity that's in the house. Yes, ma'am.
Now that is an amenable plan if the two can agree. And sometimes it depends on how far along they have paid into the house. Now this couple had just bought the house before they divorced. So on a 30-year mortgage, they had maybe 3-4 years, and the house ended up getting sold. So rather than them working out a plan where they could have still purchased it, nobody ended up with it. Ultimately, they kept it in the family, but once the daughter could not maintain it, and I guess it was a tax situation, her financial situation was unstable, so it ended up getting sold for taxes. And by the time the wife, she managed to keep it, but she didn't prepare for both of her children to maintain it. So it was in a situation like that, if they couldn't make a plan for the children to hold on to it, because one of them had the house, the other one said, okay, fine, you keep it, I'm gone out of your life even. That's what was difficult, because they weren't able to hold it for that second generation. They weren't able to keep it so that it would not leave the family. And that's one of the things that makes it difficult. They couldn't, and they could have both, they could have maybe put it in trust and continue to pay on the mortgage, both of them. Or like you say, okay, if they were going to split the equity, what happens usually in a divorce situation, you have lawyers who will come in, and what they try to do is get paid. So they're not trying, because they're focused on, I want my client to win. So Cindy's lawyer made sure she won. She got the house. So therefore, whatever the financial situation was, alimony or whatever, ultimately, when she passed away, because things were not secured, the daughter who was living in the house didn't have the knowledge of how to maintain it. The father was not involved, and the son was dysfunctional. So there was a potential piece of property that could have been a source of wealth, but it wasn't. So it ended up leaving the family. So how do you make sure that something that could have been a benefit remains a financial asset, even if the two people couldn't amicably agree? And that's one of the issues that happens when there's a divorce. If you had to bring in lawyers are thinking, okay, I want my client to win. I want them to win the best financial deal. And they're not thinking, well, how can we help them make sure their children are well taken care of? That's just not how lawyers work. They think in terms of winning and losing. And so when that happens, everybody ends up losing. But Karana, do you know of a couple where they were able to do that, split the equity, both of them go their separate ways, and contribute something to the children's well-being?
Well, yeah, that happens, and all you have to, like I said, all you have to do is that the other half, he just signed the house over to the mother, and then she just pays him off. That's what they usually do, like that. You know, they just, if the mother has the children, and the lawyer, they really go towards the mother that have the children, and she just buys the husband off. You know, she just give him half of the equity in the house if they want to keep the house. If they want to keep the house, that's what they're supposed to do. If they have small children.
Yes, I've seen that happen. Yeah, I've seen that happen. So, you know, a lot of times the custodial parent is the one who gets the property in a divorce settlement. And what I've seen happen, it's as if, okay, since you got the house because you got the children, I don't need to be in your life anymore. I'm just going to move on with my life. This is what I see happens in the case of fathers and mothers and children. It's as if the person who got the financial benefit because they were the custodial parent, it's as if that is a signal for the non-custodial parent, which is often the father, to cut all ties and therefore not participate in things like, you know, planning for the child's college, planning for their future employment, planning for anything, because that's the psychological impact of how we look at it, like a win-loss kind of thing. You got the finances because you got the child. I pay the child support. After that, you know, after they turn 18, I'm done. And that tends to be how our families function after a divorce. The person, usually the father who's paying the child support, looks at it like, once they're 18, I'm done with having to be responsible for them financially. And so the adult children who really do still need, you know, assistance, they don't get the impact of both parents. such as, you know, you mentioned, Kareem, you know, having a vision of wanting to go to law school, or, you know, wanting to pursue a career in law. Often parents will not jointly continue to plan and secure the future of the children after a divorce, because the attitude is, I'm no longer responsible after 18 because the marriage ended. So how do we change that attitude? How do we keep all parents involved in the lives of their children, even though the children have reached adulthood? Yes.
You know, you mentioned the whole financial dilemma. Children are more than finance.
Absolutely.
You know, they still need guidance. They still need guidance. They can benefit from your wisdom and your direction. You know, for someone to say, okay, I'm paying child support, you're 18, I'm out of here, I'm through, I'm finished, and just walk away. That is not parenting. Parenting is
lifelong.
Right, and you need guidance. You know, I talked to my son yesterday, and me and him discussed some issues that he is dealing with. He's a full-grown man, but I shared with him some understanding that I had. You know. So, and praise be to Allah, he has realized some of the direction that I pointed out to him. He had lost his job. This plant shut down in Detroit. But he had a side hustle. He had a small truck, and he was hauling stuff for the people. And he expressed to me how he had lost his job. I said, well, take what money you have, invest it in your side hustle, invest it in that. And he did that. He was able to purchase a larger truck. He was able to advertise his business, and his business is doing well now. But that came from my understanding. You know, that's how. That is what we do as parents. Advise them, you know.
Yes.
Advise, give them good advice. That's so
absolutely.
important.
That is.
What you can, but
that's critical.
Situation.
And that's fantastic that you were able to do that. Wa alaikum salam. And we want to make sure that we get the other caller in as well. Was there another caller that had a comment?
They have hung up. They have left the lines. If press one on your phone, we got about 2 minutes of broadcast time left.
Yes. So and yeah, we want to make sure we get. And I think someone else had a comment. And I would just say what parents can do: set up a fund for your children that you both contribute to. Set up a trust fund for your children that you both contribute to, or a bank account you both contribute to towards their future. And definitely, if they have a business aspiration, contribute to that, plan for that. Both people be involved in that. Make a way that they can plan for a future of financial independence, even if the two of you are not speaking or one of you passes away. But make that financial plan as part of your divorce package. How are we going to provide for our children? Wa alaikum salam.
What I want to say is that if you talking about on a financial level and they want to attend college, they have grants for our tax money. We pay taxes, and they have a 90 seconds. for children like that have a one parent in the house or the parent is low income. And they could apply for that grant. And they can go all the way through college on a grant. Alhamdulillah. And that's our tax money.
Yes.
That's doing that for our children.
Well, definitely plan for college if they're just 5 years old. Plan for college, plan for scholarships, put them in the best financial position you can, and put aside some money for their future. And if one of you gets the house, or whoever, make sure you put that house in trust so the children can have it and continue to pay what is fair so that you don't have children ending up homeless after they become adults. That's my advice. And thank you all so much for joining us.
I want to say one more thing, sister. They even have grants for people. Master.
We have 30 seconds. Please.
Okay, I'll just say, they have grants for people that even are homeless on there. They have grants for them. They take our tax money and they have grants for them to help them too.
Well, I'd say look into that. Well, thank you so much, sister. Thank you for all for watching. Continue to stay with us every day on the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif, along with our co-host Kareem Hamid, and we will see you next week on the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. And join us tomorrow for Veggie Brunch Live with Angela. We'll be here on the On Air Radio Network. And until that time, continue to shine your light.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, Ngiyabonga. Senegal, Jaref. Kenya, Asante. Israel, Toda. Pakistan, Shukriya. Afghanistan, Tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.